you look at Spotify, it's like hundreds of millions of plays.
I definitely didn't see music working out the way it did. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fun leaving a job that was pretty stable to move to Nashville and go back to bartending at 26, writing songs and getting rejected here, getting rejected there. My brother was like, give it one more year. I wrote Slow Dance in the Parking Lot that month. Record labels were asking me, when's my next show? Like, I don't even have a bass player.
Fake it till you make it.
100%. The second we started playing that song, I just remember being like, oh, wow, they're listening to this.
Jordan Davis, welcome to Post Run High.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a lot of fun.
We ran a little over a mile in Brooklyn.
Yep.
How you feeling?
Feel great. I don't run a ton. We usually on the road will work out, but like mostly just weights. But I feel like I handled that better than I thought. I thought at some point I was gonna have to tell you like, hey, can I get 5? But we made it through.
Yeah, we made it through. I know I was hoping you wouldn't tell me that, and you didn't. You made it through the whole run, no breaks. Yeah. A lot of people take breaks, so Jordan crushed it.
They probably run a lot further than a mile too, so.
Yeah. I know I was like, I was hoping it wasn't too far over, because sometimes when we start doing those piers in Brooklyn, it can become like 2 miles really quick when we promise a mile. So I was like, good. Jeremy, it's time to turn.
Yeah, no worries.
We talked about it a little bit on the run, but tell us a little bit more about like your workout routine and maybe like how you guys stay fit on tour.
I think a lot of it is just we have so much time to kill. Music is a lot of sit around and wait. So we try to go in the morning, find a gym. A lot of times the venue will have either gym hookup, or if we're playing in an arena, usually either a hockey team or something, we can use their facilities. But we usually lift, 3 to 4 times a week. I think the biggest thing, it's like trying to be smart with what I'm working out. Either it be, I've had some lower back issues, so like trying to strengthen my legs, strengthen muscles around the back, and then the other side of it is the diet. It's like trying to. If depending on where we're at, a lot of times we're in the middle of nowhere, so we're either bringing food or trying to run down something to eat healthy. But yeah, out there it's mostly 3 to 4 times a week, lifting weights, trying to eat clean, and now after today, throwing in some cardio. So.
Yeah, I mean, what's great about this show is you get your workout in, and now you're set for the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because getting a little movement, I feel like always makes you feel better.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, which is great having Alex out, because it's very easy to get pretty still on the road or hang on the bus or go do something else. So having him out there to kind of kick us in gear early, knock it out, and get back and start focusing on the show. It's great.
It's interesting knowing that you said you guys have a lot of extra time on the show, which makes sense, right? Because you're performing at night and then you got to fill your time during the day. Our interview with Dirk Bentley is coming out this Monday, but we played pickleball before the show with him. Yeah. So it was fun knowing that his team kind of sets up the pickleball courts. They get out there, they, get very competitive. Yep. Do you guys do stuff like that too? Like, what are some of the activities you're filling your time with?
Absolutely. So we toured with Dirk's a couple years ago, which is where we picked up pickleball. So we usually go to pickleball in the fall. When it gets cold outside, you can't really do much. So we stole their court making abilities. So we'll make our own courts, play pickleball in the fall. Or if we're in, arenas or wherever, we'll try to do pickup basketball, something indoors and active. In the summer, we play a lot of golf. Oh, wow. So like we'll, either play golf and then go get a workout in, or vice versa. I'd say like that time from, waking up to 1, 2 p.m. is kind of when we have that time between 1, or from waking up to 2 p.m. is kind of when we have our time to go do something, be active.
Songwriters are good with audio when you just repeated yourself because something came on. Yeah. Are you a sports fan outside? You are? What's your favorite team? So,
I'm a huge football fan. So being from Louisiana, I'm a Saints guy, New Orleans Saints. And then I went to LSU, so I'm a huge LSU Tiger fan. Football and baseball are my two. So my baseball team is Texas Rangers. Okay. So, yeah. And
you said for the 49ers, you've performed at that stadium or before games?
No, we got to play. We did a tour with Luke Combs and played NFL stadiums. So we got to play the 49ers, the Bengals, the Bills, we got to check off a lot of really cool football stadiums. And that was, awesome on a sense of like, you're getting to play these amazing stadiums that, I'm used to watching people play football on Sundays. But also, too, they were really cool and letting us, work out in the gyms, getting to tour the facility, see the locker rooms.
I was going to say, I feel like seeing the locker rooms is like the coolest thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. I feel like what's going to be cool for you, too, is you've got your first performance at Red Rocks coming up. Like, that's going to be pretty surreal going backstage there. I was a huge Dave Matthews fan. So, like, the live, DVDs, kids don't even know what those are anymore. But, like, I would watch these DVDs of Dave at Red Rocks. And, with no clue back then that music would ever pan out in this way. But I think the coolest thing is, I've had some opportunities to play Red Rocks as an opener. And is actually one of them was with Dirks on a tour that ended up going away because, 2021, right at the start of COVID. And I remember being bummed that tour went away because Red Rocks was on it. But now, being able to go there for the first time as a headliner is going to be pretty cool. It's going to be surreal.
Yep.
The first and only concert I saw at Red Rocks was, what is it called? Big Wild.
Oh, yeah.
And it was insane.
Yep. It's a special spot.
It's a special spot. I remember we were going to Colorado for the first time to visit Jeremy's brother who lives in Colorado Springs. And I said, the one thing we're absolutely doing is we are driving to Denver and we're going to Red Rocks.
Yep.
So that's going to be pretty surreal. You said growing up you were a Dave Matthews fan.
Yeah.
What was like your life like in Louisiana? Were you always into music? Did you play sports growing up? Like what was young Jordan like?
Yeah. Music from an early age. And I think a lot of that was just my dad, the family, which we talked a little bit about. But like, my uncle being a songwriter, my dad was an avid guitar player and kind of, would pick songs and stuff. And then my mom was a piano player, played piano at the church. So, we grew up Sunday and Wednesday night being there, watching her play. So like music was just from the start. And then, as I got older, I got into sports and I played football and baseball, up through high school. But yeah, music never got too far. But it really wasn't until, college that I picked the guitar up and started trying to write my own songs. I'd always like cover songs or, basically songs my dad had played. But, still to this day, I'm not really like an artist that can, like I'm envious of artists. Like Jake Owen, Dirks is great at this, but like being able to just play any song out there, picking a guitar up and you name a song and they can play it. I've never really been that guy just because when I, really started playing guitar, it was just always to write my own stuff. But yeah, college is when that really took off.
Being able to pick up the guitar and play any song, I feel like that's like a special talent. Like, do you feel like a lot of people can do that are musicians?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like that's based
maybe
on,
it's just like I'm so bad at it that like it shocks me when one person knows like 5 cover songs.
That's like, to me, that's like people that can like see a dance choreographed like once and then be able to do it. Yeah.
I mean, some people just have that gift, like, and I say that, and Jake Owen's really, really good at it. But I don't know. I think it just goes back to when I started playing, it was just to write my own stuff. And, still, and the guitar is one of those things where like you can always learn something new. I'm not a great guitar player by any means, but it's fun to watch somebody. I've got a guy, Marcus King, is on a song on this record with me. And he's the best guitar player I've ever like been around. And watching him play, like, kind of inspires me to. It's like, come on, dude, you could get a little bit better at that. So, that's the next goal.
Next goal. I feel like it's cool to have like a foundational understanding of playing the guitar, especially as a country singer, and then you can kind of appreciate somebody like that who's phenomenal at it. But it's cool that you taught yourself how to play. Yeah. When you were at LSU, you were studying environmental science. Yeah. Did you think that you were going to do something completely different post-college?
Yeah, I did. I had moved when I got to Baton Rouge. I kind of jumped majors around a couple times. I knew I wanted to go into oil and gas. Like that was like kind of what I thought my life was going to be. I figured I would move to New Orleans, get a job with an oil and gas company, and that would be how it turned out. I graduated. I started working with a friend of mine who had an environmental company in Baton Rouge, and I worked there for probably 5-6 months. There was no school. It was the 9 to 5, and that's kind of when it set into me. Like, I was still playing a lot of music, going to a lot of shows in Baton Rouge, and it was just like, all right, this is life. Like, if this is what I want to do, this is the blueprint. I'll work this, and maybe I'll get promoted and be able to climb the ladder at this company, which I loved working there, and the people were great. But every night it was kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready to do this yet. And there was just that constant pull at moving to Nashville and giving songwriting a shot. But I never really saw. I definitely didn't see music working out the way it did. But grateful I made the move and gave it a shot.
It's cool knowing that you had this itch when you were working, that 9 to 5. And when you were growing up, how was success kind of defined in your house? And how many siblings do you have? Like, what's the family
I've got
dynamic?
an older brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
And we're all within, 7 years. But I think that I kind of, and this is no knock on my parents, but it was kind of the go to work, get the 9 to 5, come home to the picket fence and buy a house and work a job that's safe and comfortable. And I think that was what I thought. It was like, go to college, you got to get a degree, you got to do this, you got to make this much coming out of college, or it's kind of just put all these parameters on stuff. And that's what I thought success was at the time, to where now, being a dad, I think that I'll probably shift that view of success a little bit to my kids, because, I'm so grateful that something in me pushed me to move to Nashville and chase something. And I've always said this, as being a musician, or really working anything outside of the box. I think it just takes confidence in what you do to chase after it. And that's like the biggest thing I'm proud of, to be able to teach my kids, was like, it wasn't easy. It wasn't fun leaving a job that was pretty stable to move to Nashville and go back to bartending at 26, and writing songs and getting rejected here, getting rejected there, having a good meeting here, but it not panning out. Like, and that was my first 4 or 5 years in Nashville. But I stuck with it, and it was a passion that I loved, and it's okay to stick with passions a little bit longer and ignore a few no's to see where it gets you.
And I feel like sometimes you have to ignore even family members who want the best for you, that are like, stay in that 9 to 5, like do songwriting on the side. But you really created your own lane. Yeah. Which is the scariest thing about doing your own thing. And I think what's cool about going to Nashville, though, is you get to see some of the greats that have done it before you, and you're in this culture of a lot of people trying to make it. So there's a lane in some way. It's just kind of like carving your own path within it. We talked a lot with Dirks about like learning the craft of country music. And I thought it was fascinating as a Jersey girl that, well, we talked about this, but I grew up listening to Akon and Beyonce. So I didn't know much about country music. Now I'm a huge country fan. So can we talk a little bit about like when you moved from Louisiana to Nashville, like what were those early years like for you? You were bartending, but like paint the picture of like what life looked like for Jordan at the time. Yeah.
So I left the environmental job, and had, maybe like 2 months of money saved up before that I could just survive. I moved in with a friend of mine that is still grateful to this day. He didn't charge me rent for the first 4 months. And then after that, he's like, all right, you got to figure it out. So I moved to town. I found a job bartending pretty quick, and, kind of started meeting my group of writers and friends, and which has been really cool, because a lot of those we've kind of all come up together. And one of those was Carly Pearce, who I think we met in 2012. And have been dear friends since. But like, And I'd had this thought. I was like, all right, when I moved to Nashville, I want to sign a publishing deal, which means I could focus on music 100%. You know, you get paid to write songs. That's basically what a publishing deal is. And I was just like, man, I want to sign a publishing deal within 2 years and, you know, hopefully get a couple songs cut. And, you know, that was the goal. 4 years in, I was still bartending, no signs of a publishing deal, no nothing. And I say it was 4 years. It felt like 10. I mean, because it was wake up, you know, show up at a write at 9 o'clock, write till 2 or 3, be at the bar at 4, work till midnight, and then wake up and repeat the process again for 4 years of my life. And not a ton of positives in between there. You know, it kind of just felt like I was like barely treading water. Pretty much up until 2015 was when I went to my brother's house and kind of had like a little come to Jesus. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I could do this anymore, man. Like, I left a pretty good gig in Baton Rouge. I've been here, I've been bartending, haven't had much going on. I think I'm going to move back to Louisiana. And my brother, thank God, was like, dude, give it one more year. Give it 5 years. Like, and I wrote Slow Dance in a Parking Lot that month. And that was the song that like opened the door for me and eventually led to me signing my publishing deal and record deal. And
when did you go from writing to then deciding, oh, I'm going to be the one that sings these songs? And how did you always know you had a good voice?
I think every songwriter is an artist. So, you know, my goal was to move to Nashville, write songs for other people, you know, and become just a 9-to-5 songwriter. Obviously, wasn't getting anywhere, getting close to signing a publishing deal with that. And I'd seen some people that I was writing with and knew of that were like, oh, I want to be an artist. And they were signing publishing deals and signing record deals. And, you know, early on, I had a meeting with somebody and they were like, are you doing the artist thing? And I had no clue what that meant. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. I don't even know what that means. And I went and had a meeting and brought that up. I was like, man, I just feel like I'm writing good songs. And this person just signed a deal. This person just signed a deal. And the publisher at the time said, like, yeah, well, they want to be artists. They want record deals. And right then I was like, well, I want one too. Yeah. Had never played a show, had never sang for people. Never really, you know, I'd done like 2 or 3 writers rounds live.
Okay.
But I did. I was like, well, I want one too. If that gets me, if that's what I have to do to get out of the constant write, bartend, I was willing to do anything.
Yeah, you're like, hand me the microphone now.
100%. Yeah. I was like, I'll find a band. I'll do whatever you need me to do if I can get out of serving drinks. It's like that thing that you say you want to do, not thinking that anything's going to happen. And then next thing I knew, I was meeting, you know, with record labels, and they were asking me to, when's my next show? Like, oh, we want to come see you live. So when are you playing next? And I remember being like, oh, well, I have to check. You know, I'm working on booking a show next month. And then I would get home and be like, I don't even have a bass player, like much less a show next month. So like having to
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Yeah, I had to throw a band together pretty quick and start calling bars to see if I could play a show.
But it is amazing that it's like you were chasing this dream of becoming a songwriter, and obviously like you are a songwriter and that's a big part of you, but it's cool that through chasing that dream for years and like being on that journey, you found your way into what you're doing now, and it's different than you had ever expected or planned for it to be. But it's funny how life happens that way. Never rule anything out. That's what that taught me. How many songs do you think you wrote before crafting a hit song? I mean, for 4 years, I was writing at least 4 or 5 songs a week. I was trying to write Monday through Friday, you know, and sometimes I'd have 6 or 7 writes a week. And it's definitely changed now. But, you know, at that time, it was more like volume. I was just kind of like, all right, if I'm up here to write songs, I'm going to write songs. So if I wasn't bartending, I was trying to write with somebody somewhere. And now that's kind of shifted to where
I'm a little more strategic and I kind of plan ideas out more, mainly just because I don't have as much time to write as I used to. But a good saying on that is it takes 100 bad songs to write one good one. And I hate even saying like bad songs, but like, you know, we all know when songs are special. You know, I mean, even, you know, Buy Dirt, next thing you know, when we finished those songs, I left that day being like, I don't know if that's going to be a huge hit, but I know that's a special song. So, you know, even writing them in the live in the moment, you can be like, all right, I think this one's got something. Mm-hmm. But I've also written my fair share of songs that I hope live in my email forever and nobody ever hears. So,
do you feel like you had an aha moment with songwriting where you were like, oh, this is the formula for what makes a great country song? And what is that formula?
I chased the formula forever. And I say formula, it's more so like, you know, when I moved to Nashville, and like I said, I was trying to write songs for other people. So I was looking at who was making records, who was looking for songs. And I was trying to write a song like I think Tim McGraw would write a song. Or I was trying to write one like I thought Jake Owen would write a song. And totally ignoring any of like my instincts or what I would say. And that was the switch for me. When I was like, you know what? I've been doing this for 4 years. Don't have one cut. Very few holds for people that were even thinking about recording one of my songs. And I'm just going to start writing songs the way I would write them. And throughout any other person singing this other than me. And that was when my song started getting traction. And that was a big moment.
There was a gap between you putting out your first album and putting out your single Buy Dirt, and then a couple years later, your second debut album.
Yep.
I know within that gap, you got married, right? You started your family. There was a lot going on personally in your life. Was there a pause during that gap? Because I think what was it, like 2017, you dropped your first hit single.
Yep.
And then there's just like a few years before 2021 when Buy Dirt comes out. Yep. So like what was kind of going on in your life in those years? Did you have another like I quit moment or?
I think it was kind of to catch up. You know, my first single did really well. And even signing a record deal, putting a song out, I don't think I expected it to do what it did. And, you know, Singles You Up came out in 2017, and I thought it sounded awesome. It felt great to me. And it went on to be one of the biggest, most played songs that year. So I think a little bit of that pause was kind of catching up and being like, oh my gosh, like this kind of worked. And it is still writing a lot, but like that was also when like touring picked up. I was playing more shows than I'd ever played before. We'd done 100 shows for like, you know, you take away the 2 years where touring didn't exist. You know, I mean, we were over 100 shows going back to 2018, 2019. So it was a lot of like being on the road, a lot of touring.
That's gritty, 100 shows.
Yeah. And, you know, the thing too is like the kind of saying in making records is like you have your whole life to make your first record, you know, which I did. I recorded songs on my first album that I'd wrote in 2013. You put your album out and then it's like, all right, now you have a year and a half to make your second one. So it was a lot of like catching up, touring, and kind of getting back to writing.
And that's a lot of pressure too.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, well, I spent so much time crafting this first debut album. And now all of a sudden, you know, there's bangers on that album. The fans want to make sure the next music I put out is great.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of it was because, you know, Buy Dirt went on to do some amazing things.
Still is.
So I think, thank you. Like I said, I knew the song was special. I had no clue that Luke would sing on it with me and it would go on to do what it did.
How did that come to be?
So Luke was, at the time, I had just put out like an EP. And we had a writer's retreat, and it was me, my brother, and two of my best friends who I write most of my songs with that group. And they came down there and they're like, well, man, what are you doing right now? And I was like, guys, I just put this EP out. I don't know what I'm doing for this next album.
And really quickly, what does a writer's retreat look like for you? Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
are you duck hunting and like brainstorming on the side?
Sometimes.
That's cool.
Sometimes. This was just one we went like about an hour and a half south of Nashville. Just got a spot in the woods and just kind of us four hanging out, writing songs all day, and just kind of getting away from Nashville for a little bit. And I'd kind of told him, I was like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know, we just put this project out. I don't know when this next record's going to come out. And to be honest with you too, like I don't even know what I want this next record to be. And we had I knew Luke was recording songs, and we had the idea for Buy Dirt. And I was like, well, guys, what if we write this, and see if Luke will cut it? And then we write it, and I finish it, and I was like, guys, I can't let this song go. I don't know what this next record's going to be, but I know I want this to be on it. And I get back. I couldn't, at that point I was like, man, Luke would sound good on this. Do I pitch it to him? Do I hang on to it? And I'm sitting at the house, and I was like, man, I'm just going to send it to him, see if he wants to sing on it with me. And I sat there and wrote the text message out, erased it, rewrote it, erased it. Because the scariest thing in the world is sending a song to somebody, especially a buddy, and being like, hey, man, do you want to sing on this? Because you're opening the door to like, no, man, it's not that good. I don't want to sing on that. So it's nerve-wracking to send it.
Yeah, there's a lot of vulnerability in sharing your art with someone.
And I hate like putting him in that spot for him to have to be like, maybe not, dude.
Also,
not for me.
Acknowledging, pretty cool to have Luke's number in your phone just at the ready to text.
I mean, he's a great dude. He's but I mean, he hit me right back and sang on it, and it went on and got me my first ever song of the year, which is pretty special. But that was I owe a lot to that song.
I owe a lot to you for writing that song, because truly it has been getting me through my runs recently.
Thank you. I appreciate you listening to it. That means a lot.
How do you feel like post that song, your life changed? Because I feel like that was really like the I made it moment, that song. And that was a big turning point for you in life. Yeah.
So I felt it the first time we ever played that song live. I can like see it right now. We played, because we released that tail end of the pandemic, and our first show back was in Carolina. We played this big music festival in Carolina, and we had put it out. We were going to put it in the set, and then I took it out of the set, and my guitar player came up and was like, dude, are we not playing Buy Dirt? And I was like, man, I don't know. I don't have Luke here. Like, it's kind of, and he's like, dude, I think we should play it. And I was like, all right, whatever. Let's throw it back in. We played it second to last. And I mean, the second we started playing that song, I just remember being like, oh, wow. Like, they're listening to this. And it just got bigger and bigger every time we played it. And the shows got bigger, even our headline and stuff. Like, I could see like a change in people showing up. It just felt different. And we'd had some big songs before that, but that was the one that really kind of kicked the doors open for us.
Is that a wild experience, performing a song in front of a crowd and having them go so crazy to it?
Yeah.
Like, has that been surreal to you?
It never gets old. Like, I mean, it is, I think as a songwriter, that's the coolest moment in being able to see something from an idea to being in the right room, to the recording process, to then playing it on stage and seeing it connect is I mean, that's the top.
Mm-hmm. And seeing some of these numbers, like I was looking at YouTube earlier, watching some of your music videos, and I mean, those numbers are astronomical. You're talking like over 50 million views for a lot of them. And then you look at Spotify, it's like hundreds of millions of plays. I mean, it's just surreal,
It's wild.
And it's cool getting to learn the story of like the work that went into all of this coming into fruition. And what does your wife think of it all? Is she like, this is nuts?
Yeah. I mean, she...
she's been really with you through it all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when we first started dating, I was still bartending. So, like, when her first trip to Nashville, she landed, And the bar I used to work at was like right by the airport. So we met in New Orleans. She was still living in Virginia. So she flew in, and I was like, you don't have to go far because I'm bartending 2 miles from the airport. So she landed and came and hung out with us. So yeah, she's kind of seen the whole thing. The thing I love about that is like, you know, it's been just as enjoyable for her to kind of like, to see the ups and downs, to see the growth of it. You know, and the most fun for me is to, you know, have, you know, hit a lull or feel like you're kind of losing steam and come home and her be like, did you ever think you'd be here anyway? Like, what, you know, and to kind of get that relief of like, oh yeah, you're right. Like, I get to make music for a living. This is amazing. It's been good for me.
And it's like, yeah, and you've made songs that people listen to nonstop on repeat.
Yeah.
But yeah, even then, there's still, it's nice to know that you can have so much success and still feel at a low sometimes. And
yeah, grass is always greener.
Grass is always greener. But looking back at all, you know, you've had so much success. Like, what would you tell your younger self? Oh
man, I get asked that question a ton, and like, as opposed to like going to like this like cliche thing of I try to like be honest with it. And I think with me, it's like it's scary. It's not easy. I'm really glad the way it played out. I'm glad it took me the years it took me to, because even though those 4 years of like moving to Nashville were tough, I became such a better songwriter in those 4 years.
Oh yeah.
Like,
what do you miss the most about those years?
It was like the daily grind of like waking up and trying to come up with the best idea, you know, staying up late, you know, bartending, getting home at 2 a.m., knowing I had to write the next day, staying up till 3, trying to come up with something to be able to bring in, being tired all the time. I think if I could go back and tell myself something earlier, it would be to follow your gut, to chase it sooner. I think I knew that I wanted to move to Nashville long before I did. But it was kind of breaking free of that, like, oh no, dude, that's risky. You know, that sometimes the risky play is the one you need to get to. So I would say, I would tell myself to get there quicker.
How late are you normally up on the nights that you're performing?
We late. Usually like, it's like 1 a.m. So like if we'll play between 9 and 10:30, somewhere in there, play for an hour and a half. It takes me probably like an hour and a half to kind of let the adrenaline calm down. But yeah, we're also a big Mario Kart camp, so we play a lot of Mario Kart.
Okay, wait, you're going to need to educate me on Mario Kart.
It's pretty rock star.
Is that on your phone or is that
no, it's the,
in person?
It's the Nintendo.
Oh,
what is it, the Switch?
The Switch.
Switch.
Okay, I need to get a Nintendo Switch. Are they like the old fashioned ones or have they gotten cooler?
No, it's like a PlayStation. It's like a PlayStation controller. But yeah, it's like the regular Mario, Yoshi, Luigi characters.
I love
yeah, it's
that.
pretty like, yeah, like I said, we're pretty rock star out there. So.
Yeah, pretty rock star. I love that. I also love knowing that you have 4 kids. You just had your 4th child a month old. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That must be an interesting context switch too, right? Like you're going on tour in a couple weeks. It's so soon that you're going to be on tour, September to October, right? It must be so wild going home and being in dad mode. Like talk about it's a switch, right? It's,
you know, there's like a group of us dads in country music. Tyler Hubbard, Thomas Rhett, Russell Dickerson, Corey Kent. And I mean, I know there's more out there, like Dirks is talked about, but there, you know, ours are like kind of in the same age range. Me, Thomas, Russell, Tyler. So Thomas told me one day when he's like, you know, we were just talking about family and stuff. And he's like, man, there's nothing more humbling than being on the road where, you know, it's catering and people are walking you around and it's like, hey, I need this. And somebody's going to go get it. And they bring it back to you. You play the show, everybody's screaming at you, singing. It's awesome. And then you get home on Sunday morning and you walk in and immediately met with like, hey, Dad, can I get some orange juice? And it's like everything that just happened is gone. They don't care who you are. They don't care how many songs you've had out, you know, you're just dad. And it's very humbling and the most awesome thing out there. So
yeah, I mean, the word normal, I think, is the best because you need those things that just make you feel normal and grounded. And
I'm the least cool to any of my kids.
Okay.
Like they would rather they never listen to my songs.
They will.
They will.
They
Maybe,
will.
hopefully.
Yeah. Your girls are going to be like, Dad, you need to write me a song for my wedding.
Yeah.
That's where the real work's going to come in.
Yeah, that one's going to be a tough one.
Tough critics.
They love Luke Combs, Luke Bryan. Mm-hmm. My daughter's obsessed with Megan Maroney. So like it's everybody but me that gets played in my house. So
well, you've got your new album, Learn the Hard Way, coming out August 15th. First of all, where did the name come from? I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, but where did the name come from? And also, what are you excited about this new album? I've
been learning things the hard way my whole life. Pretty hard-headed. I think going back to even, you know, as a kid, you know, working for my dad. My dad had a furniture upholstery company. I was always, every summer was spent working there. So like I was trying to come up with ways to get out of work every day. You know, through college, made a lot of stupid mistakes. And even too, like going, you know, moving to Nashville in those early years of being in town, there were some things that I just hadn't learned the tough way. And to where even now, you know, the balance, I think now the thing I'm kind of struggling with is the balance between work and home. How much is working too much? You know, but in my opinion, the best way to learn anything is maybe getting your hand slapped a little bit. It sticks with you enough. So, and I think a lot of these songs kind of point to that. You know, I wanted to have fun making this record. I wanted these songs to be fun to play live, and I wanted to kind of take some chances. So I think there's a lot of songs on here that are going to be a new sound to my fans, something I haven't done before. I've got a couple great collabs on it. Pearce is on one. Marcus King, who I'm a huge fan of, is on one. So up to this date, I think it's the best record I've ever made.
Who's a dream collab for you? Somebody that you haven't collabed with yet, but you're like,
oh God,
one day.
I'm a huge Alicia Keys fan. So like anything with Alicia Keys. I think that was like when somebody's like, have you ever been starstruck? You know, I was at an iHeart Awards and Alicia Keys walked down the hallway I was in. That was probably the closest I've ever been to being like, oh, wow, she's really good.
It'd be cool to hear your sounds merged.
Yeah. She's just amazing. Alicia Keys, John Legend, like those are.
Wow.
Like
so these aren't country artists. These are like.
Yeah. I'm a massive music fan. Obviously country is the one that I kind of always get pulled to. But yeah, I think, they're just crazy talented. You know, I think in country, Luke was a big one for me, you know, so it's kind of like,
how do you beat that?
That was the guy, man. Like, you know, he was the radio. So, and still kind of is. So yeah, I think, those are Legend and Alicia Keys they're pretty up there.
Mm-hmm. We're going to manifest it happening. Now that you spoke it into the universe, it's going to happen.
They have no clue who I am, but maybe one day.
They know who you are. Okay, well, major U.S. tour coming up in tandem with this new album. We've been teasing it. What is the tour name? It's not Learn the Hard Way. It's
Ain't Enough Road.
Ain't Enough Road.
Yeah.
And it's from September 11th to October 25th. You're hitting some legendary stops. We've got Red Rocks, Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
It's going to be pretty special. So I can't wait. We just wrapped rehearsals up last week. And this is the best show we've ever put together off of the heels of, I think, my best record I've done. So it's going to be a fun fall.
What can we expect to see you on stage doing? Are you going to be dancing? Like what
you don't want to see that.
What is your onstage performance kind of like?
I do feel like I move. I do move a lot on stage. But you don't want to see me dancing.
You get in flow up there. I have to come to the Radio City Music Hall.
No, you'll have to. We'd love to have y'all there. It's going to be, that's a bucket list spot for me and my kids because they come up here for Christmas every year. So the fact that dad's playing on the same stage that the Rockettes dance on, my daughter thinks is awesome.
It is awesome.
So I'm pretty excited about that one.
Well, thank you so much, Jordan.
Absolutely.
It was so cool to get to know you today.
This was a blast. And thank you for making me run a mile. That was awesome.
Anytime.